the magic moment of organizational transformation. It does come when you make change. Is it magical? Sometimes it could be very chaotic too. Transformational leaders, really, if you look as to what they are, they're change agents. They bring in their vision, they start transforming the organization, they champion. But one of the biggest things they have, they have to communicate an awful lot and enact an appealing the vision, and encourage employees to experiment with this new vision. It'll give them new opportunities. You have to frame it properly, but lots of communication, and make certain it's an appealing vision. Strategic vision, strategic, you hear that word, it's always long-term, usually in the world of management, but strategic means 3 years or more, but make certain you provide direction, clarify the role perceptions and success factors as to what you're looking at, as to this will be how we're going to be evaluating you and looking at the change. Link the employee values to the change, and that way the employee has less fear of the unknown. Let them know what you're expecting out of them, because that way you're defining what the change is and how it's going to guide their career pathway. So a coalition, social networks, and different kinds of change, there's a guiding coalition you need to have involved with it that has a strong commitment to change when your upper level management on board, and they all should be missionaries of the change message. If not, you may need to replace them. The reality is, if they're not on board, you're going to have people backstabbing the change aspect. And if you want the change serious, you must have your C-suite executives on board, and then your upper management nonstop. Social networks, be out there, push. Network members have mutual trust and referent power. You'll hear that talking. People are embracing change. Word will get back inside and outside, and it'll be even much better. A lot of times you take change and you create a pilot project, and that way you diffuse the change. We talked about Mars, motivation, ability, roles, situation factors. Use different aspects on the Mars model that we've already talked about to help you implement change. The motivation, have a pilot project, reward the people that participated in it. And all of a sudden now, well, they got rewarded. I didn't get anything. The ability, the employees learned about pilot, put the people that are on the pilot project in charge of helping other people do the same thing. Translate the pilot into other situations. Have this as a model for you. Action orientation, make certain that you diagnose and have interventions to achieve the change. Use research, use an open systems, because every organization is an open system in this world that we have. So embrace the change, because if you don't, and change is going to roll over the top of you and crush your organization underfoot. So make certain you have a highly participative process. This diagram here is actually excellent. Form client consultant relationship, diagnose the need for change, introduce intervention, evaluate stabilize change, disengage the consultant services. And then the one thing they leave out here, blame the consultant for everything that goes wrong. And that way they're gone and they paid their fee, and it's not in the textbook. Anyway, so I appreciate the inquiry approach. This is nice, and I appreciate it, used here in the textbook. I've tried this 2 different times in organizations. I've not been very successful. I use the consultant approach. It seems to be very effective in the process. But have a positive organizational behavior foundation, and start making certain you ask questions about, well, is this what you want? Is this where you're going? Okay, this vision you're talking about really doesn't designate a positive change. Okay, so this over here, we want to use this as our change model instead. This is a much slower approach to actually going through and talking about it and pushing the vision forward through cultural change and getting the culture to accept the change process. The 4 Ds of the appreciative inquirer, okay, one is discovery, dream about what it can be, and then design it, and then deliver it. Those are the 4 Ds that you have for appreciative inquiry. You really have some cross-cultural concerns. You have the American culture. We are much more accepting of change and much more structural changes as well than other cultures, compared to if you went to a different country that has a high model where change is slow. So sometimes you'll have a conflict between the US versus other cultural models because of the fact of the aspect of who we are as a nation. Privacy rights is a big thing. Power, I spent my whole life accumulating power. How dare you bring this change on me? You damage my self-esteem as to who I am, and also me in the eyes of my peers, and also my colleagues over here, as well as the people underneath me. How dare you do that? You have things that you have to pay attention to, that you don't damage relationships. Especially be sensitive as to where people are coming from. Transformational leaders, keep this in mind, they're always agents of change, and they have to win over the culture or they're out. Okay, use pilot projects and research. Appreciative inquiry is a good model for academics anyway. And then find compelling reasons for change. And by the way, remember I mentioned previously, technology is a secret good stealth tool. And also always keep in mind, we are open systems, if we like it or not. Organizational transformation, you can accomplish it if you follow these steps. Take care.